The subject of Deltarune's Night has been a topic of various discussions. I myself have some ideas of my own. Everyone is pointing saying, oh, Asgore is the Knight, or the Priest, or even Asriel? The idea of the Knight being someone from Undertale or someone from even the Light World is strange to me, as while we haven't met everyone, it is strange to think a Lightner would be the Knight, like some people point at Metaton or Napstablook or Papyrus, and honestly, to me, I just don't see Toby Fox making one of these characters the Knight. Instead, I propose that the character we create in Chapter 1 is the Knight. I know this isn't exactly original, but humor me. As you guys might know, in the beginning of Chapter 1 we have to create a vessel and give it character traits. Soon after this, our choice is discarded and our creation is destroyed. But what if it wasn't? There isn't too much information to back me up, but no one has real solid info on who the Knight is, so let's explore this. Now, talking about the discarded vessel, the discarded vessel I assume would be a human, and if the discarded vessel was a human, that means they'd probably have determination. We wouldn't know for sure if the discarded vessel would actually have a soul, because it seems like the soul that was supposed to be given to the discarded vessel was actually given to Chris instead. Now, let's also accompany this with a bit more of a narrative look about the story as a whole. The Knight, the enemy of the Lightners, the one who are creating the Dark Fountains, being the character we create, would symbolize how the player themselves is an enemy of Chris, as we control Chris and stop Chris from doing what they would actually want to do. It would also make sense as Toby usually doesn't add something into the story and not use it. As we know, if too many dark fountains start to appear, then the roaring happens. Now, I'm gonna take a guess here, and I'm gonna say the Knight probably knows what they're doing, since it'd kind of be lame if we got to the end of the story and then it was just like, oops, I didn't know what I was doing, my bad. Now, the exact reason why the Knight would want the roaring to happen, I'm a bit unsure of, but I have a feeling it's something to do with Gaster. I know that's kind of what everyone is saying, but whoever was talking to us at the beginning of the game, I believe that is Gaster, and I believe that Gaster forced us to make a vessel for him, or maybe not exactly for him. I don't think Gaster is in the body of the discarded vessel, but I think the discarded vessel was going to kind of be like a puppet for Gaster, someone who does whatever Gaster wants to make the roaring happen. And why does Gaster want the roaring? I don't know, probably some evil stuff, but who am I to know? Now, I know I've not been giving a lot of evidence as to why the discarded vessel is the Knight, but I honestly believe this is the best bet we have. As I've stated, the main reason I think that the discarded vessel is the Knight, because I don't really think anyone else is. For example, we know that Chris can make a dark fountain, as they did it at the end of Chapter 2. However, I don't believe Chris could have made the Chapter 2 dark fountain, the cyber world. And we know that Queen did meet the Knight because she talked about the Knight, and I'm pretty sure she would recognize Chris as the Knight. Along with that, we have the Priest. No, I don't think the final boss is going to be the turtle. The Priest seems to know about Chris and at least thinks that Chris is a good kid, and considering there was a dark fountain inside of the school and inside of the computer lab, places where Chris and friends would definitely go to, I don't see the Priest creating dark fountains there knowing that Chris could be in danger, even if there is possibly a religious theme behind it, doing it to bring about the roaring and the angels' heaven. I just really can't see the Priest doing that. Also, people think the Knight could be Papyrus. No. No. Okay, and then we have Asgore. I really don't... Like, the same thing applies to the Priest. Like, Asgore would not be creating dark fountains in areas where children are going to be. I don't care what your opinions on Asgore is not going to do that. And Asriel Dreamer. No, just no... A lot of people think that Asriel might be evil in Deltarune, and I see Asriel as being a good older brother to Chris. Hopefully. To back up more of the discarded vessel, if the discarded vessel is a human, they'd probably be allowed in the light world, which means they'd be able to, walk around and create the dark fountains. And if this is a discarded vessel, one, it makes sense as why it would dislike Chris, because, they don't have a soul because of Chris. And along with that, they just wouldn't care about creating dark fountains in places where people could get hurt. And while this point may not be too effective, it did seem like the Knight had a knife. And from what we've seen, humans usually have knives. Okay, yeah, that's not a very good point, actually. Another possible idea is that the Knight could be creating dark fountains in search of a soul, because if the dark fountain is soulless, we do know that soulless things can have determination under circumstances, and if Gaster has something to do with this, Gaster could possibly give the soulless vessel determination, and we know people who are soulless do not really care about things like that. One final point to bring up is that no matter what you really do with the character creation thing, the character does look like Chris. The character you make, while monotone, does look like Chris. They have the sweater, they have the hair, even like the most varied variations of what you make still look a bit like Chris. And if they do look like Chris, then if they go into the Dark World, I don't think it'd be too much of a push to say they would have armor just like Chris. Therefore, it could be associated that they themselves are the knight. I'm sorry for the shorter video, but I can't really bring up much more ideas on this discussion besides that I just think that the discarded vessel is the knight. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'm really curious on what you guys think yourselves. In the comments, tell me who you think the knight is. Do you think my theory is correct, or do you think I'm wrong? Tell me what you think. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time, hopefully when we find out who the knight is. Hopefully I'm right. See you guys later.